Americans are really bad at knowing the difference between commend and condemn. This is going to be a really weird TED Talk. Morning. Don't worry, we're not going to be talking about anything political. I just was going to the bathroom and I figured that was a cute way to say it. Is it a little foggy?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. So let's see if we can't, bum you guys out now and run you on a roller coaster ride today. So y'all were interested that I was going to talk about, the TED Talk joke. Now I'm going to bring up the fact that these little plaques on the ground that I've talked about previously are basically memorial plaques for Holocaust victims. Because I finally just literally stopped and read those because they're nice and clean. I've seen other ones that are kind of scuffed up and weathered, but those are nice and cleaned and maybe even replaced. And I looked at it and was just like, okay, that's a name. Deportiert, okay, it's deported. 1943, that's a very Auschwitz. Okay then, got all my answers. I understand why there's a memorial and they were singing and whatnot. I get it now. And so that's just a thing. Like, I don't want to say that it didn't happen in the United States because there are memorials of people that but these are like memorials to where the people lived.
Yeah.
Or where they were born and raised as I don't know how old these people were. It's sort of like once I realized it, I almost wanted to avert my eyes, even though by the nature of the memorial, I should be reading the whole thing. But it's just not something Americans have to deal with all over the street. It's not a thing. It's not like we can go, to Rotterdam, which has more modern technology because it was bombed.
Yeah.
The closest thing we have to being bombed is Pearl Harbor, and everything looks nice there.
Because it's touristy.
Because it's touristy. So, on a lighter note, we're actually appeasing some of Aaron's anxiety, because he doesn't actually have claustrophobia, but when walking within a canyon of buildings, he does feel a little bit
closed in. It's like everything's just too close. It is claustrophobia.
But it's not. But in the terms of like, if you were to sit in a car, scooter. If you were to sit in a car that were kind of cramped, like the Prius was by and large, you wouldn't get like anxiety and like freak out.
Right.
I mean, like I said, it is claustrophobia, but it's not by what most people consider claustrophobia. So I've thoroughly determined that if when Aaron and I get much more knowledgeable with Dutch, we'll be able to order things in Dutch, we'll be able to understand people in Dutch, but we probably won't ever be fully speaking Dutch. Was that a sneeze?
Yes. That was a sneeze.
Okay then. But we will answer people like Luke says something to you and and rather than saying exactly, you go precies.
Yeah.
So we will have this weird form of Dutch English where we sort of bounce back and forth between singular phrases and other stuff.
I would probably, at least in my head, call that an expat pidgin.
Is that the
Pidgin? P-I-D-G-I-N is a mix of any two languages or multiple languages where the languages get all muddled together because there's a lot of people speaking both. So it's basically just common words in each.
And so I would call that, like in German, they call that Denglish. In America, we call that Spanglish. So, that's just how it goes. Anything more?
That's it. Bye.
Oh, it's nighttime. We're here. Everything looks super red because the heat lamp can cook my lens away. We're at Trost and getting the tacos. I've already had a protein shake, but that was at like 2 hours ago, so relatively digested. I got me some Tripel. Aaron had a day at work. We've been dealing with the, we'll call her the housing lady in Turkey.
Yeah.
Because when we had to deal with the housing before, when we were getting this apartment, we were dealing with her. And now we're dealing with her to get the residency permit and then BSN so that we're not having to go by ING all the time and pull out hundreds, 200s of euros at a time so we can pay cash most places. I understand Aaron wants to use his card, and I understand that there's a machine that does say, that signifies, yes, you pretty much can use your card there, but it really sucks when I go inside an Albertheim at like Hilversum and the guy is like in the back next to the oven dicking around on his phone. And I'm like standing at the register. I'm like, I want to buy my chocolate milk and I can't self-check out because I don't have a debit card. And like everyone comes in and like checks out and like beep, 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 beep and does their stuff. And I'm just like standing here waiting and I'm like peeking over the thing.
Yeah, there's Aaron.
Yeah, we're having some drinks to... I don't really need to soothe my soul because I've been playing WoW. Some paperwork, including the marriage license. And we need to do some stuff tomorrow about shipping something back over to get our birth certificates, because we apparently need apostilles on them too. Which we told you guys about that one, so we need to figure out how to get that one back over there and then back ASAP. So, co-workers was in there. What's he work for?
He works for
NMQ.
just a different branch of Helps.
Gotcha. He was talking a lot about... I was listening to one of the phone calls because we thought the repair guy was here, or at the apartment, and I was just like, I don't want to be there with the guy who's pounding away at the bathtub. I want the bathtub fixed, but I don't want to listen to as he like pounds away at stuff. Plus he's a strange guy. And anyways, so the chair didn't come today. Or someone took it to their own apartment. Or nobody answered their buzzer for it to let him in.
Yeah.
Very weird. I was like, how do you expect to get a delivery? I mean, obviously she says it was coming in the middle of the day, but once we get our address, how are we supposed to? That's why I was thinking getting a P.O. box. Because that way we can go and the stuff will be there. I don't know how all this works, but
Yeah.
I asked, what's his name? Mosey. I keep wanting to say Moshe. And one conversation thing led to another, and I literally just asked him the question, what did you learn about the Pacific during World War II? And he went through and explained, and Aaron and I were just looking at each other like, that's not how it went.
Well, that's not how we learned.
Yeah, I mean, it is how it went, but it's sort of like how we learned what happened here. And it was, I think it was because I was bringing up about the little placards.
Yeah.
And that's what caused the World War II talk. And he's from Turkey, so obviously he's going to learn more about the European stuff. And specifically how Turkey or the Ottoman Empire was involved at that time. And we're going to learn about the Pacific because, one, the Pacific Northwest, we were right next to the Pacific, and, you know, we could have been taken by Japan. But, like, he didn't... Like, he was like, oh, well, apparently Japan decided that they were going to step up into the war, and they crashed into Pearl Harbor. Like, he was questioning what it was. And then you guys were like, oh, well, we don't have any Navy now, so we're just going to bomb them. Like, that's not how it went at all. We still had a Navy. We're just building them in San Diego instead. I mean, we're still building boats there.
Yeah.
You know, and there was a good chunk of war that we were, you know, along Midway and Guam and all the Channel Island, all that stuff. We were losing. That's why we did the nuclear bombs, because we were losing. He says, well, yeah, but you guys just like bombed them right after each other. I was like, we bombed them so we could show that we had superiority. And if you can afford to drop 2 bombs successively, you have more than just the one. He's like, really? I'm like, that's why we dropped it. That's why we went after Nagasaki. He's like, I did not know that. I'm like,
so many different aspects to everything.
I mean, the war was big and huge, and I understand that there are the World War II buffs that know everything about all this stuff, and they don't know all the stuff that happened here. But it's just one of those conversations I'd like to kind of have, maybe with Hussein more, because I know him a little bit better, and
Yeah.
you know, maybe the teammate, maybe the guys on the Hurricanes a little bit later. I don't know if Yan would actually want to talk about some of that stuff. He'd seem kind of nervous. But I can just imagine, like, there's a group of people in the United States that think World War II wouldn't happen if Poland were stronger. it's Poland's fault for being invaded. It's not a big group, but it's... So yeah, that's that. We're just waiting for dinner. Aaron's off work. I've got practice tomorrow. We've got the repair guy coming at 8:30 tomorrow, so Aaron's going into work later. After that, do you just want to... Oh, wow, that was fast. Yes, look at that.
Steak. I enjoy.
That steak with the garlic butter and the fries with mayonnaise. If you plan on coming to Europe, put your fries in mayonnaise. Get used to it. Yeah, he agrees.
And it's delicious.
Well, yeah, but you have to ask for ketchup. Even at the fast food restaurants like Burger King, Monday, they were like, "Do you want mayonnaise or ketchup?" Like it was mayonnaise was up, ketchup was down. It was like, I was like ketchup, and she went, "Oh, okay." Like okay. So yeah, that's that. We're gonna eat and we're gonna head home and probably watch Good Place.
Yeah.
Okay.